I went from working out 2 hours a day and doing like 5 to 10 hour long runs on the weekend to I have to take a 2 hour nap after I go grocery shopping. Running 100 miles seems impossible, and maybe even kind of crazy. And it is, but we believe in big crazy dreams. That's why we ran 100 miles. It was such a life-changing experience for us, we decided to devote this podcast to preparing and inspiring you to run your first ultra race.
Are you ready to feel the highest highs and the lowest lows? Are you ready to do what you once thought was impossible? Are you ready for your trail to 100? Thank you for joining us here on Trail to 100, the podcast made to help you finish your first 100-mile race. My name is Jacob Bateman, and joined along with me today is my beautiful and lovely wife, Melody.
Hello.
And it's just the two of us today. Back to the OG style.
Back to the OG.
So we have had an exciting past month, Melody.
We have.
Yes, we have.
We have.
So,
yes.
Melody, how about you tell the Trail to 100 Nation what you have been doing along with myself this past month?
So this month we did the TFNU 4-Peak Challenge. TFNU is the Trails Foundation of Northern Utah.
I'm wearing their t-shirt right now.
Boom. And the challenge was to hike the 4 major peaks here in Ogden, Utah. And those peaks are Ben Lomond, Lewis Peak, Mount Ogden, and Malin's Peak.
Yeah.
And I thought that that would be a perfect challenge for me this year. It gives me something to shoot for, it gives me something to kind of train for, since I can't really run right now. And I know everyone who listens to all of our podcasts, they're thinking back to the very first episode when we announced we were pregnant, and I was like, my goal is to run a 50K while pregnant, and everyone's laughing at me. Yeah, I know. But hey, we found something to do, and it was a really fun challenge. It was definitely a challenge. Super funny to go from, basically running these peaks every single day to it was a struggle to just hike 4 of them in a month.
Yeah.
They're big climbs.
Like,
they're big climbs.
Mount Ogden had like 4,500 feet of vert.
And it was about 11 and a half miles.
Yeah, on a really
also
technical.
Very technical. I sprained my ankle every single time I'm on that trail.
Yeah,
every single time.
Ben Lomond was like 3,500, and that's 16 miles
and
round
then
trip. And
Lewis Peak, 10 and a half miles with, what was it?
It was like 3,300 feet of vert.
It's a good amount of climbing. And then the small one is Malin's Peak, which is the route we took, 5.5 with like 2,500 feet.
Yeah, about 2,200.
Yeah, so they're still big climbs. When you hike them, they take all day.
Yeah.
So
what was our longest time? It was Mount Ogden, and what was that? How long did that take?
8.5 hours, or was it 8 hours solid?
I think it was 8.5.
Something like that. But also we spent a lot of time chilling at the top. These weren't races, so we did stop and take pictures, and that was kind of the point of these challenges. Was like, okay, we can't really run,
well,
so let's. Excuse me, I can't run. So we're like, okay, let's just do the best we can. The goal is to just finish them. It was kind of fun to slow down and stop and take pictures. And this is what I'll say though, is the way back down, all of them. That's the hardest part because hiking is so slow. It's so slow.
It is.
Yeah, oh man. And like the amount of stuff that you have to bring with you because you're just out there longer, you got to carry so much stuff and
you're carrying a big pregnant belly. Right.
And Jacob on all of the peaks, he wore a backpack on his belly. 2 times he hiked up a watermelon.
One of them was an 18-pounder. That was rough. That was actually probably the hardest peak for me, was the 18-pound watermelon. That was the first one.
That was Lewis Peak.
Maybe my legs got stronger after that.
Maybe. But you guys, this was funny. Towards the end, Jacob was legitimately mad. We hiked. It was me, Jacob. Oh, excuse me. Pregnancy. I hiccup and burp all day. Okay, anyways. Oh, excuse me. Jacob, at the end, he was really frustrated. And we hiked with my dad, oh my gosh, this isn't going to stop. I'm sorry. We hiked with my dad, my uncle, and some cousins. And anyways, we're getting at the bottom, and you're getting towards the bottom, and everyone's asking Jacob, like, how you doing? How's baby doing? And Jacob is like, my back is killing me. My feet hurt. And the worst part is I can't see my feet.
I kept slipping.
You can see that coming down is the hardest part.
Yeah, you can't see where you're stepping, and the rock's all loose. And
right. And it was funny because Jacob was mad, and we were all
I just
laughing
wanted to
at
be
him.
left alone at that point.
You were not in a good mood.
Yes. Leave me alone.
It was very validating for me.
And it was, yeah. And then I'm like, dang, no wonder Melody, is restricted the way you are. I'm like, geez, like this really is tough.
Well,
to
and I
try
said
to hike with this kind of weight on your front end.
it's just weird. Your weight is just different, And then of course.
And I'm not dealing with all the organ distension and whatever's going on inside of you.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is the next thing that you need to do to make it more like realistic or more like being pregnant is you need to do it with breathing through a straw the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Because you're breathing, it's like your lungs are just squished, and it's harder to breathe. And then, anyways, I can go off and complain, but I won't. We're happy to be pregnant.
But lots of people were giving you kudos out on the trail.
Not gonna lie, it was a little bit fun. I've learned as a pregnant person, you do become a bit of a spectacle, especially when you're on top of a mountain. So it was fun when lots of comments like, "Holy crap, you're killing it," or "You're Superwoman," or.
And of course, this was all done against doctors' recommendations.
Which don't tell people that.
What?
No,
just like your first 100, it was done against doctor recommendations.
It's true, but let me explain. I'm not being stupid. I mean, okay, I'm probably being a little bit stupid, but I called my doctor. The reason I can't run right now is because of SPD, which is, dang it, I forget what it's called. Anyways, it's
SPD, y'all.
SPD. That's what it is. No, I have pain in my pelvis and around my pubic bone. My hips are, anyone who's like a doctor, nurse, or PT who's listening to this is probably rolling their eyes, but my left pelvis is like rotated forward. Anyways, I got some pain and some instability there. Yeah. So I am doing pelvic floor physical therapy, and I do have a lot of restrictions right now, which is really hard. And my doctor said one of the biggest no-nos was stairs and hiking. So anyways, but this is what happened is first I called my OB, who I was never able to get a hold of her. So my message was given to my OB kind of through the grapevine, and then was given back to me through a nurse and said, your OB said not to do the challenge. And I was like, well, I didn't even get to talk to my OB. Like, I feel like she doesn't even know what's happening. So anyways, I was like, I'm going to do it because I feel okay. I'm going to take it really easy. I started, I looked up SPD exercises on YouTube and was doing exercises and ab bracing and all of this work, and I was feeling a lot better. And I did the hikes. I just went really slow, took small steps, and then I started doing pelvic floor physical therapy. And I asked my doctor the same thing, like, hey, I'm doing this challenge, and she basically was like, she's like, you can do it. You can do the challenge. She did say to like space out the climbs, which I didn't really do.
No, we did like 4 weeks in a row. Because
I just wanted to get over with. And I also didn't want to risk like being 35 weeks pregnant on top of the mountain, Yep. So she said like I could do it, but just be careful. She gave me exercises. So we weren't totally stupid. I listened to my body, and we've finished it now, so no more big hikes until baby comes. We're just focusing on...
Which will be in like 2 months.
Yeah. Woohoo! So we're just focusing on getting stronger and recovering now. And you guys, I'm dying. I'm dying.
What are you dying about?
Not being able to run. I went from working out 2 hours a day and doing like 5 to 10 hour long runs on the weekend to I have to take a 2-hour nap after I go grocery shopping. And I'm dying.
Well... I think you're killing it.
Thank you, babe.
So I am proud of my pregnant wife, and I'm proud of her for hiking all those peaks 6 to 7 months pregnant.
Thank you.
Been dealing with a big belly, and there were some days that they weren't feeling very good, but you still did it. And so I'm proud of you for getting out and doing it.
Thank you.
What did you learn from these 4 weeks of hiking these 4 peaks that are going to help you in your ultra running journey?
Well, I will say this. Hiking is, like we've already mentioned, hiking is very different from running. And I think there's a lot of like mental benefit for both of us. And also my dad, who he's the one, I feel like he struggled more than me to slow down on the runs, especially on the downhill.
He joined us for 3 out of the 4. And you could tell that it was hard on him mentally to slow down.
Yeah, but he was so nice, and he slowed down, and I'd sometimes apologize, or I'd just be like, thanks for slowing down for the prego or whatever, and he was like, well, you've slowed down for me lots of times. And in the beginning of his running journey, I walked many miles with him, and anyway, so everyone who hiked with us was super nice and slowed down with me. But I think it was really beneficial to slow down, like I was saying before, to stop and take pictures, to hang out at the top and eat some food. There's just something about slowing down, you know what I mean? And I don't know what it was like for you guys. I feel like it was probably even harder for you guys because you could have gone faster. I couldn't. I mean, I was going as fast as I could. But I think I learned to just really, I don't know, be present and enjoy where I was at. Honestly, the biggest thing was taking pictures. Like, it's such a pretty year this year with all the extra rainfall and moisture. There's more wildflowers than there usually are. There's more water than there usually is, and it's just pretty. And I feel like usually we just run past all of this and we don't fully take it in. But I feel like on these hikes, we were able to actually really fully take in where we were and like take the pretty pictures. And it was just fun to be out there,
So you learned that taking pictures will help you on your ultra running journey.
Oh. Well, yeah, I think it's important to slow down and take pictures, and I feel like you can apply that to
like
life too.
Trail runner.
No, I'm serious.
Take pictures.
No, you do. I am dead serious because it's about being present and appreciating where you're at. I think if all the time it's just about going fast and winning or getting a PR, then some of the magic is taken out of it.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying
so
you're
stop
learning
making fun of me.
To be present.
Yeah. And to take really pretty pictures for Instagram. Just kidding.
Oh, for Instagram.
I'm just kidding.
Not for yourself, guys. Only take the pictures if they are to post.
I'm just kidding. That's just a cherry on top if you get a really good pic and then all your runner friends like it and you're like, yeah, I'm a photographer. But no, I think that's a big thing. And honestly, I think another thing is giving myself grace. I had to learn to, everyone who hiked with us, it was all guys, right? The first time when we did, there were a few other girls, but when we did Ben Lomond,
it was mostly men in our group.
It was mainly like Jacob, my dad, and my uncle. And I don't know, like it kind of felt a little bit lonely. I felt a little bit awkward. I felt a little bit uncomfortable. I felt like
too much testosterone flowing around.
No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is I just feel like the people I were with, even though you were all so kind to slow down, you're all so respectful, everybody helped me carry things and no one complained. It still felt like, because you guys are guys, I just feel like no one totally understands like where I'm coming from.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
We don't and we won't.
Right. And I guess I'm just used to being like, I don't know, like I'm the strong girl who comes and runs with the guys, and
now you were the pretty princess.
And now I'm like the pretty princess,
the
and everyone has to carry stuff for me and slow down for me. Everyone is treating me a little bit more like gently. Everyone's a little bit more concerned for me. And it was just different. You know what I'm saying? Not a bad different.
Where did this start?
Sorry, I know. I'm just babbling. What I was saying
to
is
have mercy on yourself.
No, grace.
Oh.
Thank you for bringing it back around. Yeah, I've learned to have grace with myself, I definitely struggle with self-talk. I'm super, super hard on myself. I know a lot of runners who are listening can relate because a lot of us are type A, right? And
Not me.
no, not you. But you still struggle with negative self-talk.
Yeah, I struggle with that.
We all struggle with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've had to learn to like, as everyone else around me is like being more gentle with me, I'm like, I also need to be more gentle with me. Because here I am expecting myself to do everything that I could do before. But I have to remind myself that my capacity to do things is a lot more limited.
You're sharing your body with another human.
Right.
And so that's going to limit you.
Right. And I've also realized like I have some pride that I need to swallow, and you know, like asking for help has been hard. Having you carry my things, I felt so guilty every time. And then I was like embarrassed to say like, hey, I want to bring up this extra water just in case. And I felt bad because it was more stuff for you to carry, but I knew I couldn't carry it. So that was just kind of hard. You know, so I guess that's another lesson, is like learning how to ask for help and accepting where I'm at and what my capabilities are right now.
Dang, you just keep going
and
with
letting
lessons.
people help.
My goodness.
I've learned a lot. I feel like I'm a different human than
Really?
I was before I got pregnant. Oh yeah.
I thought you were talking about this challenge made you a different human.
Well, yeah. I mean, the challenge made me grow a lot too. I mean, I feel like a lot of these lessons have been learned in life and also in the challenge.
Okay, so ultra running lessons learned from this challenge was take pictures.
AKA be present.
AKA be present, which I think, yes, you need to do when you're out there doing these runs. Stop worrying about, like, there's times to worry about time and pace, but there's also times to just be present.
Yeah.
Have grace for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you aren't able to do it as you originally wanted to do it, it's okay, as long as you still get out there and try and do something.
And just do what you can.
Yeah.
Like for me, the TFNU challenge, like this was the best that I could do right now.
Yeah, and it pushed you.
Mm-hmm.
I saw
it
you
did.
struggle out there on
It
a
was
couple
hard.
of those mountains. And then the third one was let people help you.
Ask for help and let people help.
Yeah. Don't be too prideful to turn down a helping hand. I think those are 3 great lessons for ultra running.
Yeah. I mean,
If you're going to succeed in running 100 miles, I think you need all 3 of those.
you gotta be present.
Because if you
gotta
don't
let people help.
Yeah, if you don't learn how to be present on a 100-mile race or just through the training, you're going to start to hate life.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have grace, holy cow, who keeps a 100-mile training plan perfectly? Probably 1% of everyone who trains for 100 miles.
Right.
I bet you some people have.
Right.
But most people don't. And your body is going to need breaks here and there. And your body's going to say no here and there.
And there's going to be life stressors
Yeah.
and things that come up that keep you from doing what you
there's
need
gonna
to
be
do.
time constraints. So you might have just been lazy for a day. Oh well.
Maybe
Have some
you're
grace.
working through an injury.
Yeah.
Maybe you're injured and you're coming back,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Have some grace. Start working on getting better. And then the third one was
Okay, so
let other people help you.
Yeah, ask for help and let other people help.
Yep. Golly. If we just would have let more people help us through our first 100, we could have saved so many headaches and asked for more help.
Well, I take that back. We didn't ask for a lot of help. A lot of people offered their help, but we let them help.
Yeah, we let people help, but
we did ask for help.
we
too,
didn't.
Yeah.
We did, yeah, but we also didn't. We didn't ask a lot of ultra runners for help.
Yeah.
And
we also
we
just didn't really
needed-
know ultra
I
runners
know,
at the time.
but we let our self-conscious fears of, they're gonna think we're doing this wrong.
Yeah. It's
Get
true.
to us and prevent us from asking for more help, and so that led to a lot of hard runs.
Yeah.
Hard, miserable runs that probably could have gone a lot smoother.
If we would have just
Started
for help.
asking around for more help, and
Yeah.
because ultra runners were all around us.
Because we did try to do it all on our own. We just did all of our own research.
We
and,
just did it all on our own.
like, there's a few people we talked to.
And
Shout out Josh
very,
Bryant.
very minimally.
But not really.
Like we should have been talking to Josh Bryant every like just way more than we did.
Well, we should have been going to the local running groups,
Yep.
Getting to know the people, asking them questions, asking them for help, but we
were letting our fears kind of control that.
We were too scared.
Yeah, they're I honestly remember they're just going to tell us we're doing it wrong, and who wants to be told you're doing it wrong?
Right,
Most
which we were told that we were doing it wrong.
Yes, some people even we didn't even ask them
on social media.
We didn't even ask them, and they told us we were doing it wrong.
That probably fed into our fear even more.
Yeah. So, anyways, no, I think those are 3 great lessons.
Well, and I'm also thinking about when you're in the middle of a 100-mile race. Okay, giving yourself grace. It's funny because it rhymes. Anyways, let's say you're comparing yourself to other runners, like your race, for example. You're thrown up in diarrhea and you're like, it's not fair. Like, I had a great training program. Look at all these people who are running past me and doing great. And sometimes I feel the same, where I'm like, I'm a healthy person. I exercise, I eat good, I lift weights, I run. Like, I should be able to be that woman who's like running up until her due date, but look at all these other pregnant women who are running. But you need to give yourself grace and realize that your situation is different than everyone else's situation. And then ask for help and let people help. When you're in a 100-mile race, at the aid stations, sit down. The volunteers are there to help and they want to help. Let them help. Give them your pack. Tell them what you need and let them help you. Ask for a foot rub. I guarantee you there's going to be someone at aid station who's going to be willing to rub your dirty, sweaty feet.
Yeah.
And it's going to make a big difference. So.
Yeah. Before we move on from this topic, I want to preview an episode that will be coming out probably in like a month-ish. Anyways, we interviewed Joe Nevshimal.
There we go.
I think I said it right.
Practicing his last name.
Joe Nevshimal. And he just finished his first 100-mile race. Shout out to Joe. Thanks for joining us on the pod. We actually interviewed him earlier today. But he gave me I asked him through an email earlier about what was the most important lesson you've learned from ultra running. And he didn't really say this actually in the podcast. He said a lot of other good stuff though, so you guys should be excited for that one. He said, have mercy on yourself when it comes to training and training plan. Learn to embrace the needs of yourself, both mentally and physically. And then he says, in parentheses, body signals. Make sure that your journey into ultra marathon running is not a chore or becomes one which you shame or neglect self-talk because you missed a workout or cut a run short. If your body says 10 miles on the training plan, but that is too much, do 5 miles and try to know internally you are not a failure. And he said that's something I struggle with. Self-doubt and self-negative talk is your biggest danger.
That goes along with what we're saying perfectly.
Yeah.
He worded that so well.
Yep. You wanted to do a 50K. It just didn't happen. And maybe you'll do it earlier in pregnancy next time.
Or hopefully I do, what I'm hoping is I do pelvic floor physical therapy and figure out these issues with my hips so that doesn't happen next time
this is your first time through pregnancy. So anyways, but yeah, you're not going to keep, things won't go perfectly, but he said, he didn't say if you have a 10-mile run, it's okay to not do anything. No, he said it's okay to go do 5. So you're still doing something.
And sometimes, because I always like to throw this in there, sometimes it is okay
to not do
anything.
I've done that.
Sometimes I'm going to say that should be a rare occasion.
I had that happen to me when I was training for Scout, and I actually think that was the right call. I took 2 days off, and I thought that was 100% the right call looking back.
Well, I love that he mentioned body cues. Listen to what your body's telling you. Something that I tell all of my athletes is your body knows better than I know. Your body triumphs. Your body is the ultimate coach. So learn to tune into your body and listen to what it's telling you.
Yeah.
Because there's no training plan or coach that is going to know more than your body does.
Yeah. So, okay. Is hiking something you should plan into a training cycle? And when,
100%.
okay, why and when would give me like examples of when this would be effective?
Okay, well, most 100-mile races, you're going to be hiking. Especially when I think of a 100-mile race, I think of a lot of climbing. I know that there's lots of 100-mile races out there that don't have a lot of climbing, but even then, chances are you're going to be hiking or speed walking some of it. And when you're walking or hiking, you are using different muscles. So it is worth your time to exercise those muscles and to get your speed up, get your hiking speed up or your speed walking speed up. So when you do hit a time where you have to walk or hike, or when you should walk or hike because you're preserving energy, when you get there, then you've exercised those muscles and you can do it as fast as possible, because it still is a race, right? We're still trying to beat cutoffs. We're still trying to go as fast as we can. So, work on those muscles, get your speed up in that area. That doesn't mean that you have to, hike every other day, but I would say throwing in at least, 1 to 2 hikes instead of runs in your workout plan every week.
Every week?
Yeah.
You're thinking hiking every week?
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Really?
Of course. Yeah, so think about it. When we were training for 100, how often were we hiking or speed hiking? A lot, right?
Yeah.
But we built it into our runs.
Well, yeah. But I classified it as a run because if it was like a downhill or a flat, I would still try to run.
Right.
But yeah, if it was an uphill, and if I just felt exhausted and needed a break at some point during it, I would hike a lot of it, even the flats and downs.
Yeah, and I guess that's how you can get it into your long run. On your long run, you're probably going to be running / hiking a part of it. I do think on top of that, I think it's good to maybe occasionally say, okay, today instead of a long run, I'm going to hike this entire thing. You don't have to do that all the time, but I would say throwing in a few like long hikes instead of long runs would be really beneficial. And then I would throw in like a speed hike in the middle of the week. Maybe even consider a speed hike with like a weighted vest on or an extra heavy pack just to work those hiking muscles.
So I like the weighted vest idea.
Yeah.
That could be seen as strength training.
Yeah.
Could you replace a strength workout? Like say it's a strength day. Could you replace that with a weighted vest hike?
I wouldn't do that all the time, but yeah.
Occasionally?
Yeah. I'd say so.
Okay. Here's what I would say.
Okay. Go.
Now you're ready for the Jacob Bateman opinion.
And honestly, like, this is the hard thing with training plans. There's so many different approaches you can take. Everybody's different. Every body is different. But the general thing that I'm saying is get hiking in. Practice your hiking, however you want to get that in there.
Because here's how I would get it in. Let me tell you how Jacob Bateman would do it.
All right, Jacob Bateman.
The one and only legend.
Wow. Cocky.
Wow, Melody was not impressed with that statement. So I would definitely not plan hikes. I wouldn't plan hikes in my training plan.
You just would sprinkle it in there when it feels right?
Yeah, like I know when my body feels tired and when I need to hike more.
Yeah, but what about practicing hiking when your body doesn't feel tired so you can get the most out of that hiking workout?
Okay, here's where I would do it on a recovery day.
Unless it's a speed hike with a weighted vest, then you don't want to do that on a recovery day.
Correct. But I think hiking on a recovery day is
that is great cross training. Yeah.
Is a great thing to institute into your training plan. If I got to like a week and I'm like, ooh, like I am toasted, like I feel like I need a break, my body's really feeling it, then if I had like a 6-mile run that day and I knew that would on average take me hour and a half,
then you would just hike for an hour and a half.
I would hike that hour and a half.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to do it too. I do think you still need to throw in some hiking workouts. What am I saying? You need to throw in hiking workouts when you're feeling good too.
Okay, just to learn how to hike fast.
Yeah, and so you can get the most out of that workout.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, I would do it more than just when you're tired.
Yeah. And Mark, Melody's father, one of his takeaways that he was telling us from doing these hikes and not actually running was he says, like the time on feet benefit. He's like, he's like, it's amazing. My feet are hurting from this, and this is working different muscles, he noticed.
It takes more stability and control when you're hiking downhill versus when you're running downhill.
Yeah.
It's actually harder in a lot of ways.
So it could be seen as a way to round your muscles out, a little bit, become just a little bit more overall strong. And he said he wants to implement one long hike a month. Yeah, where he just like goes hikes the mountain instead of runs the mountain.
Like what we've been doing, which I think that's a good idea. I think that's smart. Yeah,
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and maybe even do that on your, well, I was going to say do that on your recovery week, but you also do need to consider that you are on your feet longer. So sometimes
it still might not be a bad recovery.
It just depends on how long it is.
I guess
because here, like Ben Lomond, when we don't hike it, we can do it in 4 hours, right? It took us 8 hours hiking it. So let's say it's your recovery week, and so you choose to hike it instead of running it, and you just added an extra 4 hours on your feet that week. So
I guess this is a topic to be researched more.
Yeah. I mean,
to be understood a little more.
Honestly, this has been like my big saying lately. I've been working with one client in particular who is super type A, and she reminds me so much of how I was when we first started running. And I really have learned like throughout the years to not be as obsessed with the numbers and the plan. And I've realized that training plans, or building a training plan, it honestly is more of an art than a science. There's the general rule of thumb things that you follow, like building your base, and we know that you want base strength training, speed work. There's the basics, but then a lot of it is just kind of listening to your body and trying different things, and everybody's super different. So, the big takeaway here is throw in hiking. Make sure you're hiking, however you want to throw that into your training plan. And maybe it takes getting a coach to help you like kind of figure out how to best build that into your plan. Maybe it just takes some trial and error on your part, to see kind of what works and what doesn't. And that's part of the fun of running. Is this something you can, do and test for your whole life? So
the big takeaway is go slow.
What? What are you talking about?
You can cut that out.
Okay.
All right. So, everybody, you heard Coach Melody say it. Throw in some hiking into your training. Be okay.
Hey, Coach Jacob said it too.
Be okay with going slow here and there. Anyways, so been a fun month.
Has been a fun month.
Yes, I have a 50K coming up this month. Skyline 50K. Got about I think it's like 8,000-ish feet of vert. So that'll be fun. And I'm actually going to just kick it into gear and go all out. Because I don't have many races where I actually kick it into gear and go all out. Because almost all the time, my shorter races are seen as training races for a 100-mile race. So I've never really known what I can do on the shorter distances.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. And Jacob's been training fairly well.
Great, guys.
I mean, not you haven't stuck to a plan like you have for Scout, but you're still getting out and running. Yeah. Like, you're still doing stuff. I made some new strength training
I've been going on all hikes instead of long runs, so we'll see how that affects my 50K.
I guess we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I've probably been doing more hiking than a coach would recommend for someone running a 50K, so we'll see.
You definitely are. But I think that's important. I feel like you're kind of in this transition phase where maybe you're not following the schedule like perfectly, but you're still getting out, you're still moving, you're listening to your body. And I think every year everybody needs to take a few months of like unstructured working out.
Yeah, and then I'll be my brother's doing an adventure run. I'm not sure how long it is going to be, but I'm going to be joining him on his adventure run. And then that's And then I will also be joining Ryan Head at the Wasatch 100, running the last basically 50K with him. So I'm going to have a busy few weeks, some high mileage weeks up ahead of me, all kind of bunched up together. So,
and I'll be there too, but on the crew side.
Yes. So it will be exciting. So see how that all goes down.
Yeah, got some fun things coming. So, and then after that, it's baby time, man. We're just going to figure out, we'll be able to relate to all you other runners who have kids, and,
we'll see how it goes from there.
We'll see how it goes. We don't really know.
Well, thank you all for joining us on the podcast today. If you are thinking about doing that 100-mile race next year, go to our website, check out our coaching. We would love to just talk to you and see what you're thinking and just give you any bits of advice we can. So, because we want to see you guys succeed in your goals, because we know you can do it. So
it'll change your life. To the person who's considering running 100 miles right now, it will change you.
And you can do it. Trust me, you can. You have way more in you than you realize.
So much more.
So we'd love to talk with you. You can book a consultation with us on trail100.com. And we came up with a new tagline for the 100 mile.
We're excited about
Trail to 100. We are going to be exiting this podcast with our new, fresh tagline.
We're just trying to be cooler and cooler every day.
Yes. Yes, we are. So, speaking of what I was just saying about if you're considering running 100 miles, if you want to run 100 miles,
make it happen. What? Jacob actually doesn't know our tagline. What were you gonna say? You can do it.
You can do it. All right.
Wouldn't that be funny? We're like, you guys, we have the coolest tagline ever. You can do it.
Pregnancy brain, guys.
You're the one who messed up.
Exactly.
Jacob has had some serious sympathy symptoms. That is totally real.
So, guys, if you want to run 100 miles, make it happen.
Hey guys, super exciting news! Pine Tree Running is now Trail to 100 coaching, and Jacob is officially a coach.
That's right. So if you're ready to take the next step in your training and run that race you've always wanted to run, we would be honored to help guide you on your ultra running journey.
At Trail to 100 Coaching, you'll receive a custom running plan with strength training options, constant communication with your coach, and you'll be connected with other runners like you who are also on their Trail to 100.
If you want to learn more, check out our website, trail100.com. Please feel free to contact us with any questions you have.
If you want to run 100 miles,
make it happen.